It is a feel-good football Friday on the Fan Sports Network. Greedy salutations from the Findlay Hyundai Studios. Devin Dixon, thank you for tuning in. Paul Ratliff, Tara Atkin, the whole crew in the house today, and we're going to have a lot of company today, Paulie. We have a lot of company today. Yeah. We have a loaded show, so hopefully you can stick around for all 2 hours because you're not going to want to miss a bunch of content here on the Holy War high school football tonight, wrapping up the regular season. Utah Tech basketball gets their season started tomorrow at the Burns Arena.
Wow.
So to get all of those topics in, we've got Wayne Olofopo, Crimson Cliff's head coach. They're hosting Pine View tonight. Huge Region 9 football game. Spencer Linton, BYU TV, will be by.
Yeah.
Bill Riley will be by from the voice of the Utes.
Yeah.
Working for Utah Athletics as their director of broadcast.
It's been a while since we've had him. He's always been really great.
Yeah, and John Judkins will also join us. So we are absolutely loaded today. We've got 4 different guests talking a variety of different topics for you, and all fired up. Let's get right into what's going on around the water cooler. When you get to the office this morning, when you get to the work site this morning, what is everybody talking about in sports? Well, baseball, probably part of it for those baseball fans out there. Dodgers 1 win away from a World Series appearance. They are just cruising very easily past the Brewers, it feels like.
Yeah, and I think that this is kind of an indication of how it might go in the World Series no matter who goes against them. I mean, they look to be the best team right now playing. I mean, I just saying the facts. I know you want the Mariners to win the World Series.
Things can change in sports,
I know they can change, but we're going off what's happened, and it looks as if the Dodgers are playing the best baseball right now of anyone left.
Yeah.
Now they're looking tough.
Yeah, they look good. They look good. You can't discount that they don't look good. You can't say that they don't look good, but things can change. That doesn't scare whoever plays them, whether it's the Mariners or the Blue Jays. That series, of course, last night, nobody can win a home game in that series.
Yeah.
It's crazy that Seattle took 2 in Toronto, and now Toronto's took 2 back in Seattle. The pitching performance I thought I would get from Castillo did not happen. I was worried about Scherzer turning back the clock and throwing a gem. I kept asking Paul yesterday, I'm like, can Scherzer, can he rewind it and have one of those masterful performances? And you didn't think he could do it.
No.
You didn't think he could do it. You were thinking 6 years ago, Scherzer, when he was a Washington Nat champ. That's the Scherzer that I was scared would come out.
2-time Cy Young winner in Washington. He was great, but I didn't think he could bottle that up. I mean, this was during the regular season, 5-5, 5.19 ERA. I mean, this is a
numbers aren't that great.
Below, average to below average regular season pitcher, but the lights came on for Max Scherzer in the playoffs. And there's one thing about Max that I've known his entire career, whether that's in Detroit, Washington, New York, wherever he's been, LA, is that he is a bulldog.
Yeah.
He's going to fight. I mean, he's going to empty the tank on the mound. He's going to give you everything that he's physically got. And he did, like I said, give up a long ball early on to Naylor. Naylor crushed one out of the park.
Yeah.
And, he does give up a couple long balls, but only 2 earned runs in that start in 5 2/3. So was not the performance I thought Max would have, but he did. And he looked like he turned the clock back, honestly. Turned the clock back 5 years and looked great.
He did. Man, lot of fun. Lot of fun. Brewers' gutsy performance by their relievers, though. The reliever comes in 9 strikeouts, going up against Glass now. I mean, this game was tied early. There was a play at the plate that the Dodgers threw home. 2 good baseball games last night. Not 2 great baseball games last night. The Mariners game I cannot categorize in any way, shape, or form as great, Paulie. I just can't do it.
Max was the only one who allowed an earned run. The rest of the bullpen run from Fluharty to Varland to Hoffman to Dominguez, all of them 0 earned runs. So it kind of reminded me of the Royals World Series win where their starter would go 4 to 5 innings every night, and then that bullpen for Kansas City had 6 arms that you could run out there and pitch 1 inning. So it kind of had feelings and vibes of that a little bit, where the bullpen just, yes, Max gave you a good start, but he only went 5 2/3. It's not like he went 7 strong. So the bullpen really was the MVP for the Blue Jays last night.
It kind of felt like a bowl game in the NFL last night and Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Wow. A Thursday night. It's October.
Yeah. He was on a lot of benches last night in fantasy football, I'd assume, but he did not play like a bench player.
He leads the Bengals to a 33-31 win over the Steelers last night. Stats were elite. 31 of 47, 342 yards, and not 1, not 2, but 3 passing touchdowns. And his impact was immense in that game last night. If you don't have a quarterback in the NFL, you don't have a chance.
Yeah.
You got to have a quarterback. In college, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance.
So now
it's the most important position on the field.
Bengals fans probably thinking, let's tread water until Burrow gets back now. It didn't look like that was possible with Browning.
No.
They were going to take loss after loss after loss with Browning because he's just a turnover machine.
But
he's
it's crazy that Flacco came to this team 10 days ago, and then he does that.
And he had a great game last week, too.
A division rival. Like, it is absolutely...
Yeah, he was playing you guys Survivor last week, and he tightened that game up single-handedly, and he won this game single-handedly.
We got to talk about a 40-year-old quarterback.
Yeah.
That doesn't do the darkness retreats. The other guy. It wasn't Aaron Rodgers. It was Joe Flacco.
Yeah, that's right.
Man, and with the win, Cincinnati has life. They are 3-4. They're in second place, but now behind Pittsburgh at 4-2.
Yeah.
What a lovely mess this division is. And, T. Higgins caught a massive pass from Flacco with 2 minutes left in the game and, slid down instead of scoring.
Yeah,
to run the clock and then kick the game-winning field goal. Like, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Jamar Chase, breakout performance of the season for him. He had 42 fantasy football points last night.
Yeah.
Just reeling in catches. It looked like him and Flacco been playing since they were 12 together.
Yeah, they were definitely had a good connection and synergy going throughout the entire game. And, 42 fantasy points, that is defined by 16 catches for 161 yards and 1 touchdown on an NFL high this season.
23 targets.
23 targets. Yeah, he was definitely looking for him a lot. And T. Higgins got 10, but and still made a lot out of those 10, 96 yards and a touchdown for T as well. So both those receivers, which a lot of people who have fantasy owners of T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, when Jake Browning was the quarterback, you were getting diminishing returns on those great players. But now with Flacco, that reignites the fantasy value for those two players, and it reignites the Bengals season and their playoff hopes once again, because Pittsburgh's not going to run away with that division. They're not a good enough team all around. I mean, I saw that last night. The Steelers' defense is what they always harken back to, the steel curtain and how tough their physical defense always is. They got shredded by a 40-year-old backup quarterback last night. So, and they got shredded by the Jets and Justin Fields to the tune of 30-something points in week 1. This is not the same Pittsburgh defense that we've been accustomed to over the years. I mean, the Bengals really ran a clinic on them last night.
Yeah. So that's what's going on around the water cooler. The Steelers kind of swung the door open in the division right now a little bit, kind of letting the Ravens and the Bengals back into it. Man, oh man. You didn't see that coming, but all of a sudden that division is just a mess, like I said a second ago. So, we'll see what happens. The other news. So you had the Mariners losing 8-2. Toronto's tied that 2-2. 3-1 Dodgers winning. 33-31 Steelers losing to the Bengals. The other stuff you need to know this morning. One of the guys that Paulie, you thought maybe Penn State would take a swing at, he ain't going anywhere. No. Kurt Cignetti gets a monstrous new 8-year contract that pays him a staggering $11.6 million per year to stay at Indiana.
Yeah, I was wrong on this. I thought Penn State would do whatever they could to get what seems to be the best coach at a non-blue blood program in college football. I thought he was priable. Is that a word? Priable or pry him away from Indiana. I thought that'd be something Penn State could do, but it looks as if Cignetti, his family, they love Indiana. They love Bloomington, and he is re-up for 8 more years in Indiana.
At Indiana,
and the buyout's ridiculous. So he's got a Jimmy Franklin style buyout to keep him in Indiana.
It's fully guaranteed. All $93 million is fully guaranteed unless they fire him for cause.
And I don't think that'll obviously happen.
Indiana just gave a head coach $93 million over 8 years.
Yeah.
We live in a world where Indiana can do that now.
Yeah.
So, and I thought that a coach to get paid that money for Indiana football, which Indiana football before Kurt Cignetti, what was Indiana football? It was nothing. The Hoosiers were a bottom feeder in the Big Ten year after year after year. And that's all it takes is one coach to transform a program. That's why I have hope for our local schools. I have hope for Utah and BYU because they both have capable coaches. You need a good coach in college football to win games and to recruit and to be the face of the program. So I think Cignetti and Indiana have, they're going to be married together for a while, 8 years. So I hope it works out, and I think it will.
Other news you might need to know around the water cooler this morning. Fred Warner's surgery went well. 2 surgeons said he could be back for the playoffs if San Francisco makes the playoffs. Possible return, they're calling it. Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks not going to agree on a contract extension before the start of the season. That doesn't sound like good news long-term for Trae or for the Hawks. News from yesterday you might have missed, Malcolm Brogdon retiring from the NBA. Take a guess how old Malcolm Brogdon is.
He graduated in they won the championship in 2018, I think, UVA. So he's got to be in his 30s at this point, right?
He's just 32, though.
32, yeah,
32.
He's my age. So, yeah, I figured he wasn't too old, but.
So he is hanging it up.
Yeah, I got
announcing
one.
his retirement from the NBA yesterday.
Yeah, the Knights have done something on the goaltender front as they have signed Carter Hart, former Flyer. That's his most decorated part of his career.
Yeah.
They signed him to a PTO, a professional tryout.
Yeah.
What is set to convert to a 2-year, $1.8 million contract starting December 1st. Positioning him as a depth piece behind Aiden Hill and Akira Schmid. So I think Hart's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's worth way more than $1.8 million over 2 years. I mean, you're getting him at a bargain basement price. So if he can even give you anything, that's a win. I know they did that a few years ago with Jonathan Quick. Didn't he play for the Knights for a little bit, or was that the Rangers? I think that he played for another team, and he was at the end, kind of like Carter Hart is.
Quick was never with the Knights.
No,
Quick was never. Okay, that was the wrong thought there. But PTO 2-year, $1.8 million. That's basically a depth piece, but I think he might be. With Aiden Hill's injury and Schmid, I don't think is that great. This might be a guy that plays more games for the Knights than you think come December.
I haven't been following that Hockey Canada trial. Have you been following that at all?
A little bit. I thought they were acquitted.
Yeah,
from what I heard, right?
Yeah, I haven't been following it closely.
Yeah.
I mean, supposedly he's learned a lot. I don't know a ton about it, but he faced charges. There was an 8-week trial in Ontario, and it was the trial that involved 5 members of the World Junior Championship gold medal team.
Alleging like sexual misconduct or something to that effect.
Yeah, but him and his teammates found not guilty.
Yeah, they were acquitted, I remember.
Yep.
But I'm like you. I didn't keep up with that case
I didn't follow
fully,
that. I didn't follow that, but that's part of the reason he's probably hasn't, latched on with anybody.
With a team.
Been dealing with the legal battles.
18-month absence. He has not played in a game for 18 months. He's the first of 5 acquitted in the Canadian World Juniors. Yeah, so you're right on that. Yep. That's right.
Trinity Rodman, she got a leg injury. Suffered that on Wednesday. She's going to miss all of the U.S. women national team's camp with this injury. So she's got to get right, so she'll be ready to go. Anything else around the water cooler? Knights did win, by the way, last night, too. Yeah. They beat the Bruins, what was it, 5-3 last night?
Yeah.
6-5, wasn't it? Higher scoring game, wasn't it?
It was pretty high, yeah.
I thought it was 6-5, but I might be wrong. last night was 6-5.
Yeah.
Did they? Yeah, maybe they added. Oh, they got that late one. I forgot about that late one. They were up 2. There was a lot of goals right there at the end. How many goals were in the third period?
Looks like 3 goals in the third period.
Yeah.
Carlson and then 2 by the Bruins.
I saw the Carlson goal.
Yeah.
The Stone made a great play, and then Carlson ended up finishing it in the net there.
But this is going to be a thing with them all year until they finally get some goaltending help or defensive help. You've kind of mentioned Pietrangelo being gone is a big loss.
Huge loss.
Huge
loss.
Huge loss. But Schmidt again, 19 of 24 saves, 5 goals allowed. Not that many shots, but a lot of goals let in. So I think that this Carter Hart thing comes at a good time. To be honest with you.
And they put Aiden Hill on the DL.
Yeah.
And now they sign Hart, so we won't see Hart for a minute. It sounds like.
Yeah, for a little bit probably, but
so
I think
Schmidt is going to get a lot of reps right now, and they need him to improve on the fly.
Yeah.
You can't go giving up 5 goals every single night
on 24
to win.
shots.
Now you can't outscore teams. The Knights' offense is that good. It's that dangerous. And that's what they did last night. And this Bruins team might be better than we thought going into the season. Only time will tell.
Yeah, they've kind of done a reconstruction of their roster. They've gotten rid of pieces like Bergeron and pieces that have been there for a long time, Marchand. But they are a different team, but they're a scrappy bunch. Still got Pasternak, still got some high-skill guys. So that was a good win for the Knights, finding a way to beat the Bruins, who were 3-1 going into that game. So they were off to a hot start.
Yep. You do have a lot going on today. More Major League Baseball. Back to Seattle we go. Don't have time to rest on the laurels on the 2 losses. They'll play Game 5 today. It's almost
I didn't know that.
4:08 first pitch.
Wow.
4:08 first
quick
pitch.
turnaround. 3 games
They'll have an
in
off
3
day
days.
tomorrow. They'll have an off day tomorrow.
Then travel back to Toronto.
Yep.
For Sunday, Monday, for Games 6 and 7. We know at least we'll have a Game 6.
Yeah.
And they will be going back to Toronto. That loss last night assured that. You also have Utah State, San Jose State tonight. A Friday night college football game. Gets right in the way with our high school football coverage. Never been a fan of the. Leave the high schools on Friday alone. I know everybody wants to be in a TV window, and for the Mountain West, probably makes sense. And obviously, would love to watch that game. Might be able to see a little bit of the end of that game, Paulie, after we're done with our coverage.
Yeah, I would assume we'll probably catch the fourth quarter, depending on
It's a 7 o'clock start.
Yeah, depending on how quick the games run this tonight, we could maybe see the fourth quarter. But San Jose 2-4 this year, 1-1 in the Mountain West. I don't figure them to be a team that's contending for the title or even close to a top spot. So Utah State, if they want to stay in the mix, they're at 1-1 in conference right now. If they want to stay in the mix and be battling for a spot in that Mountain West title game, which I think they have aspirations to do, they got to win this game.
Yeah, that loss to Hawaii set them back.
Yeah.
And they're it opened 3.5-point favorites. Right now, Utah State on the road is 4.5-point favorites. It's a road game for the Aggies.
But the Aggies' record's deceptive. 2 of their 3 losses are against A&M and Vanderbilt. So, it's a very good team. I mean, Hawaii just kind of got them there. It was a blowout loss. It was a bad loss, but it's a long travel.
And quarterback situation is murky.
Correct. I think we should get some more clarification on if Barnes and his level of health, at least before the game tonight. But he did not play well in the last game, the last time out.
No.
But this year, 1,318 yards, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's played really well, played a really clean game for the most part, but he is not the healthiest at this point at time.
He didn't have his best game against Hawaii. Penalties killed him. Third down, missed opportunity after missed opportunity
Jacob
killed
Conover came in the game. He played some snaps in the Hawaii game, and so I don't know if Barnes is fully healthy right now.
No,
but we'll see. We'll see come tonight.
Yep, should be fun. All right, that's what's going on around the water cooler. We're off and running on the drive. Come back, give you 2 big things to watch for, and then 3 high school games coming your way tonight as the regular season comes to a close. Then Coach Wayne Alofapo is going to jump on the show. We've got, again, Spencer Linton, Bill Riley, John Judkins, just loaded on a Feel Good Friday here on the Fan Sports Network. Night of the regular season is tonight in Region 9 football here locally. Here to talk about our Boulevard home game of the week is head coach Wayne Alofipo of the Crimson Cliffs Mustangs, the not one but two-time defending state champs, trying to stay undefeated, an outright Region 9 title on the line tonight. It's senior night over there. Coach, good morning. How we doing on a game day?
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having us.
Oh, man.
It's going to be better.
Thanks for waking up early with us, Coach. You've been up for a while now. Did you get any sleep last night?
Just a little bit. Yeah, I've been up for about an hour and a half or so, but it's, packing the day already, man.
I love it. I love it. Coach, tell us about the bye week. Did it come at a good time for you guys on the health department? And are you full strength tonight against Pineview, a very formidable foe tonight at your place?
Yeah, the bye week's good for us. It was really good for kids to get some relaxation, some recharge in them, and to the bodies to relax a little bit and get healthy. And we're excited. We're pretty healthy, and we're just excited for the opportunity that's in front of us tonight. It's a big game against an incredible team.
As you put the game plan together for Pineview, what have you been stressing with the kids? Where's the emphasis been, and how much fun is it getting ready for a game tonight like an opponent in Pineview?
Oh, yeah, this is what high school football is all about, man. Last game of region, and it's for the outright, region championship. I mean, kids have earned the right to be in the driver's seat, and we're just fortunate to be in this position. And it's like, it doesn't get any better than this for high school football. It's exciting to go up against an cross-town rival and an incredible football team and go see what we can do.
Coach, you look at Levi Shaw, Brock Harris, Kyle Richardson, Yoakum. They've got some playmakers. I know you're on that defensive side of the ball. You're the coordinator. They're running things. You guys have always schemed well for high-flying offenses, but this offense Pine View does have some studs on it. There are some athletes that your defense is going to have to slow down tonight to win this football game.
That's not even a question. It's the best offense we've faced up in the region so far. Like you mentioned, Brock Harris is Brock Harris. He's the real deal. And then you got the Yoakum brothers. You got the Falanico kid. You got the Richardson and Williams kid at running back. You got Shaw at quarterback. And then you got a really good O-line. So, really, we're going to be tested tonight in a lot of ways. And I know they're going to be prepared. And, we tried to, find some areas where we feel like they're going to try and attack and sure some of that up. And then throw in a couple wrinkles tonight to see what we can do for a lot of their schemes. And so, it's going to be good. It's going to be. I'm sure it's going to be a chess match, and that's exciting in itself. And so it's going to be fun.
Coach, two of those guys that'll be patrolling the middle of the field trying to limit Brock Harris are Nate Entz and Diedrich Moore. Those guys have both averaged over 8 tackles a game. Talk about your two seniors and two guys that will be playing their last regular season home game at Crimson Cliffs tonight.
Yeah, pretty proud of Nate and Diedrich. Like I said, they've been chomping at the bit to get their opportunity, and they're doing great. Our linebacker core as a whole has done a really good job for us this year with, L.J. Langston at our stud, and then you got Bryce Strickland at my weak backer, and I think that group as a whole is they're excited, man. Like I said, they've been waiting their opportunity, and they're making the most of it right now, and that's all we can ask as coaches, and I'm sure that's all they wanted to do is just continue to, raise the standard of what we try to do here. And so, those two have been our force, Nate and Diedrich, and I'm excited to see what they do tonight because they're going to have their hands full, between that running game that they have and then between, the mesh concepts and their OTB routes and everything that they do. The middle of the field is going to be critical for us. And so it's going to be a chess match for sure there.
On the other side of the ball for you, Coach, I've been very impressed with Tonawai Andresen, junior quarterback, first-year starter for you, dual threat guy. I've noticed he's getting better and better as the seasons went on and going through his progressions. And I thought he was good early on in the season against some really good opponents in that department already. But I think he's improved dramatically. Talk about his growth and what that's meant for Andy Stokes and the offensive side of the ball for you guys.
Yeah, it's been huge for us, to watch him get better and better each game. Has been fun to watch, and that process is so fun to observe and have a front row seat to. Coach Stokes and Coach Weiss, the QB coach, they hold these kids to a high expectation, and you never know when you have that type of situation, and then eventually after a couple games, like, oh yeah, this kid gets it. Like he's okay with the pressure, and you see he's just so calm and poised and composed in the pocket, and he shirks off the mistakes and moves on to the next play and continues to just lead by example. And it's been fun to watch his progression. I think the health of our receivers coming back has helped build his confidence as well. Jackson Holt had to carry a good chunk of that load early on, and having Britton Phillips now back in the mix, and we're easing back Ryder Wilkinson back in the mix, and some other guys that are stepping up like Ty Phillips and Truman Horn. I think that's also helping his confidence to have a full core of receivers. And then obviously you got the two running backs in the backfield to help take pressure off with Cade Shaw and Van Daly. And so, excited to see. I think we're still not peaking, to be honest with you. I think tonight's going to be another step up for us, we hope, and we continue to trend in the right direction. But it's fun to see that progression.
Coach, one more on the defense, 24 tackles for loss, 8 sacks. That's sophomore Major Stokes. Is he just scratching the surface of what he can do? He's just a sophomore. I'm sure he does things that you guys can't even fathom that he's doing at this point in his career.
Yeah, Major's athleticism is quite incredible. It's off the charts, honestly. And, he's got that length to him. His motor, then you add in his motor, that's what makes that kid different. He's got all the other abilities, but his relentless effort is incredible. You'll see him get double teamed. You'll see him fall down, and he doesn't stop. He just goes, and he does that in practice. And it's funny to watch it in practice because he'll bark at everyone because he knows he can't hit the quarterback or the running backs, and he'll just bark as he's chasing them. But he's just high energy, high energy, high motor, and I'm telling you that motor and relentlessness is what makes him different, and it's fun to watch. I mean, he's only a sophomore for us. Kind of reminds me of that Crew Jones kid out of Ridgeline, and Major's got an incredible upside, and it's going to be fun to watch it continue to develop.
Talking with Coach Wayne Olofupo. Coach, the Crimson captain this week, I'm curious, was it motivational like it always is? I had a chance earlier in the season to sneak over and watch, your players and some parents captivated by whoever's speaking on a given Wednesday night. Can you give us a little insight into what went down this week for your team?
Yeah, we had 2 Crimson captains this week. They were actually both Crimson High students.
Wow.
Colby and Addie. Yeah, they're both, they deal with some special needs stuff, but it's been pretty awesome. It was great. They're both Junior Olympics as well. Both just won some medals, and, they roamed the halls at Crimson Cliffs, and it was cool to hear their story of how they haven't allowed their situation and experiences to stop them from continuing to do what they want to do. It was awesome after Kobe spoke. Well, Kobe's father, Brent, spoke in his behalf, and at the end, Kobe wanted to say something, and he said, "I am ready to join your team now." And it was awesome, man. They're just inspiring young people that roam the halls at Crimson, and these young men that are on the team don't even realize who's amongst them. And so it's cool to put these people on a pedestal, Addie and Colby, and be able to hear their story and just feel their energy and their inspiration and their power. And it was great. I mean, it was very inspirational this week.
Gotta love that. Coach, before we let you go, give us some thoughts. What's going to be the message to the team before you run out of the giant inflatable helmet there on senior night? I know emotions will be high for your seniors. I know that last year I could see, how special that was for you as a coach with your twin sons as seniors, but I know you treat all these kids like your son. So tonight is always an emotional one, and you have another big group of seniors this year.
Yeah, you know what? Senior nights is always a special night. The message has been pretty simple all week to our young men. It's we have to focus on what we do, but at the end of the day, we know that we're part of this senior class's story, and we tell them all that every year. This is their story, and we get to be a part of it, and they're writing it. And so tonight, we want nothing better than to go and try and compete for a region championship, but add that to their story and their legacy. And so tonight's for the seniors. That's what it's always about. And so we're excited to go compete and see what we can do against a really good program and football team and honor our seniors. And so that's who we'll be about tonight, is these young men and all the effort and sacrifice and commitment they've had to this program.
Do you start seniors that maybe haven't been starting, or is it business as usual as far as shuffling the lineup on senior night, Coach?
I think there'll be a little bit of mix of that. We'll try and sprinkle some in here and there where and when it makes sense. But again, majority of our seniors play, and there'll be a couple that we'll sprinkle in to give them some playing time and exposure there. But we'll definitely look for that opportunity to try to make that happen for everyone.
Coach, look forward to it. I'll be over there. I look forward to coming and talking to you before the game, after the game, and all that stuff. And best of luck tonight against the Panthers. Should be a fun one. I know town is chomping at the bit to see how this one plays out tonight, and we're excited to come over and call the action.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Thanks for always having us. Go Mustangs.
All right, Coach Olofupo right there, and it will be a battle tonight. Pineview at Crimson. It's our Boulevard home game of the week, and not the only game tonight. You do have a Hurricane coming in to take on Desert Hills. It'll be senior night over at D Hills, and then Dixie and Snow Canyon will go head-to-head tonight as well, Paulie. And it flies by, buddy. It flies by.
It does.
Give me 2 big things to watch. I know you were putting your spotlight together this week for St. George News. Give me a couple thoughts on those other 2 matchups before we take a break, Paulie, because, for Desert Hills and Dixie, they could really use a win in the RPI rankings to improve their seeding going into Saturday's, bracket reveal show.
Yeah, that's right. For the Dixie Flyers, I think 2 big things are, it's just keep Desert Hills keep Desert Hills in a box. Don't allow, I'm sorry, who am I on here?
Talking about Dixie Snow Canyon?
Dixie Snow Canyon, I'm sorry. For Snow Canyon, Dixie, Jacob Malafau, he's been kind of one of the top tacklers in the state. He averages 9.9 a game. I think the rest of the defense, some rough games for Dixie as far as scoring points go against them. I think they got to follow his lead. He's kind of that emotional soul leader for this defense. I think they just got to tackle well, bring guys to the ground. down. Too many broken tackles against Dixie so far this season. And then for SC, they're making final adjustments for a playoff run. They've got to be able to, this is time to sharpen things up, fine tune things. And I think Isaiah Thompson needs to be a guy they target a lot tonight. He's their big play guy. A big play waiting to happen is what I said in the spotlight. 34 catches, 428 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I think he's been a little underutilized thus far. So I think they need to try and involve their aerial and downfield passing game for Snow Canyon. And then as we shift to the Hurricane Desert Hills game, again, another team making final preparations for what they believe can be a deep playoff run in the Hurricane Tigers. So I think that they've just got to get their running game going. Time of possession, that's their game. I've been wanting more throwing from the Tigers, but it seems as if they just want to go with their bread and butter and only throw when they have to. So I think it's Trump, it's Brody Jacobs, it's Austin McRoberts. Just get that complex window dressing driven run game going. And for Desert Hills, I think it's Isaac Andreessen. He averages 99.9 yards per game, 6 total touchdowns. I think that this is a guy, if they're going to win, give Hurricane some of their own medicine. Ball control them back. Just hold the ball, don't let Hurricane have it. So I think those are the keys for both games tonight.
Hurricane did lose their starting backer, Salvino, got injured in the last game a couple weeks ago. They were hoping it wouldn't be too serious, but it sounds like it is. So he's going to be out for the season, from what I understand. That's a huge loss. You're starting middle linebacker, and so they'll have to shuffle some things around a little bit there and add some depth on that defensive side of the football for the Tigers. Tigers, trying to lock up a bye, a top home 8 game, seed. All that. That's what Snow Canyon is trying to lock up. It'll be really interesting to see. Crimson and Pineview, I think, are ranked high enough before they pulled the RPI down. I don't think, a loss either way would drop either of those teams out of the top 8. So we could have 4 teams with a bye, assuming the favorites probably win tonight. And the favorites would be Snow Canyon, Hurricane, and Crimson. But I don't think... You want
my scores? I do give out scores in the spotlight.
I would love to hear a prediction. Paulie's pick's sure to go wrong.
All right, we got in the Crimson and Pineview game, we got 35-24. I got the Crimson Mustangs winning at home.
Okay.
I think they're going to win on senior night. It should be an amped-up environment. They should win by more than a score. Dixie puts forward a good fight, but SC, they're, again, like I was saying, tuning up in preparation for a playoff run. I think they win big tonight, 42-14. Snow Canyon is who I got in that one.
Okay.
And then the last one, Hurricane Desert Hills. I think it's tight for 3 quarters, but I think this is a low-scoring, ball possession, kind of muddy game as far as the offensive numbers go. I think Hurricane wins 28-14.
28-14.
Yeah.
Okay. If that happens, then all 4 of those teams, I don't think Pineview drop out of the top 8. They all should be getting buys. That means most likely Desert Hills and Dixie would be not in the top 17
and
seeds.
On the road.
So they would have to go on the road on October 24th, which is the first round of the 4A state football tournament. So a week from today.
Yeah.
And then, obviously we would go from there. And then all 4 teams that got buys would potentially would obviously be hosting on Halloween on the 31st.
Wow. Excellent.
You're going to have 4 high school football games in Region 9 home sites.
All right.
And wouldn't expect any of those to be head-to-head, but we could see if a Dixie or a Desert Hills went on the road and won, where they could have to come and face one of those teams. We'll just have to wait till Saturday till the bracket is revealed. I'm hoping that's not the case, Paulie. I don't think any Region 9 team wants to see another team in the first week or the second week of the postseason.
That's right.
Quarterfinals, semifinals, you can't avoid it sometimes.
No. The one year we got the whole Region 9 pod, though. It was like the Region 9 rerun, is what you called it.
Yeah.
But hopefully we don't get that. Hopefully we get some variety in the bracket. I don't want any Region 9 reruns. I get it. We've had those teams play each other all throughout the year. No one likes it, but they do the best they can up there, as I said.
Well, we had a Region 9 rerun last night in girls soccer.
Yeah.
In the 4A playoffs, Snow Canyon, a thrilling Lottie Smith goal in the second half, and the 2-seed Warriors get a 1-0 victory over the 6-seed Crimson Cliffs in the 4A soccer matchup last night. Snow Canyon has now won 7 straight, and Tori Martin, another shutout, her 5th of the season, and they'll face Desert Hills. Desert Hills went up to Green Canyon, Paulie, the 7-seed Thunder, and they win over the 2-seed Green Canyon. Ellie Heaton scored a goal, and I think it was Peyton O'Brien that found the net on a beautiful shot. I saw the video on that one last night online, and a huge win for Region. So this is what I've been saying for a few years now, with Southern Utah starting to catch Northern Utah when it comes to sports like soccer. They have so many more people up in Utah County, Salt Lake County. I know we deal with the Cache Valley schools as well, but I feel like soccer has been on the rise for a while now. Some really talented, especially girls soccer players going on to the next level, and don't always get the fanfare that a football player or some of the other athletes, basketball, baseball, get. But man, having now a semifinal, Desert Hills versus Crimson, that is going to be exciting. That is going to be an exciting matchup. Ridgeline and Park City will meet on the other side. I wish they were flipped, right? You wish you didn't have to play another Region 9 team until the finals, potentially. Where Snow Canyon just had to go through Crimson. Now they got to go through Desert Hills. They split head-to-head the meetings during the regular season. Desert Hills got them the first time. Snow Canyon paid it back later in the season on their way to winning the region title. So a little report there on some high school soccer playoffs that happened last night. So Desert Hills beats Green Canyon 2-1. Ridgeline beat Mountain View 3-0. Park City beat Mountain Crest 2-0. And Snow Canyon beat Crimson Cliffs 1-0. Those were your 4A quarterfinal scores from last night. All right, got to get to a timeout. Lots more coming up when we come back. Show today brought to you by Coral Canyon Golf Course. Celebrate 25 years of great golf. Get out and play the course. It's absolutely pure right now. Coral is rocking. The course looks absolutely dialed in, as good as it's ever looked right now. All this rain has really helped all the golf courses just look pure out there. Get out and play it. Coral Canyon Golf Course. Check out the website. You can book your tee times right online, or you can call the pro shop, 435-688-1700. Coral Canyon is rocking, celebrating 25 years of great golf. We'll take the break. Back in a flash. It's The Drive on a Feel Good Friday on the Fan Sports Network. Hey, everybody, welcome back. It's the Fan Sports Network show today brought to you by Game Day Men's Health. Game Day Men's Health makes it really easy with free T-tests for the guys out there. Free testosterone test. You get your results back in 15 minutes or less right there. You don't have to go anywhere else. You don't have to wait around for a phone call. You don't have to make multiple stops. You can call or text to book your free testosterone test. I'll give you the number here. Jot it down. Shoot them a text. Say, hey, I was listening and I wanted to get scheduled for my free T-test. You can call. Nothing wrong with picking up the old telly and ringing somebody if you actually like to talk to somebody, but a lot of people like that text option. You can call or text for your free testosterone appointment at Game Day Men's Health, helping guys out there look and feel your best. They are the experts in town. This is what they specialize in. 435-265-4223. That's 435-265-4223. And reclaim your game with Game Day Men's Health. Paulie, it's a big sports weekend. Big Friday night. We've got, of course, mentioned the Utah State Aggies get the college football slate rolling right along on a Friday night game. They're playing the Spartans of San Jose State tonight. We got our high school games tonight. We got 2 of the 3 on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page. I'll be over at the Boulevard home game of the week. That'll be Crimson and Pineview. Paulie, you and Caden will be over that Dixie Snow Canyon game, correct?
Yes, that's right. I think that's what we settled on, right?
And we will have eyes on Desert Hills and Hurricane. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And then off to the postseason we go, and we'll have at least one game for you next Friday, the 24th, in high school football. There's some other top 25 games that are on our Zag Picks of the Week. If you have not made this week's Zag Picks of the Week, go to the website, thefansportsnetwork.com. You can't miss it right there on the homepage. Usually it pops right up in the slide. If not, you can go to Contest tab, and you can easily put in your name and email and phone number and make your picks. We've timed it before in 30 seconds or less to make your picks. It's click, 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 click. Pick a tiebreaker number, and then hit submit. It's not very difficult. At the end of the picks, Zag will give you a $25 gift certificate just for making your picks. So you can screenshot that, or you can print that page out, and you can take that into Zag. You don't have to win or anything. You just have to make your picks, and you will get a free $25 in-store credit at Zag. You're also gunning for top 3 prizes that include Kabuto Sushi. So it's worth taking 30 seconds out of your Friday morning to go make your picks. The brackets will lock tonight at 7 o'clock with the high school game on the docket. Of course, we're asking you to pick that big one between Crimson and Pineview, Paulie.
Yeah, that's a big game. It's a de facto region championship in my mind, so I think this will be a really big game tonight and a hard one to pick for the Zag Picks of the Week, but we'll see how people fare.
Some good ones this week. The matchups, Pineview Crimson, and then in college football, how about Tennessee, Alabama?
Yeah.
Woo. Terrace Vols.
Yes.
That's right.
Taking on Bama. It's a top 11 matchup, right? Isn't
Yes.
Tennessee ranked 11th?
11,
Bama
Bama 6.
Yep.
Yeah.
Huge game. Tara's obviously picking her Vols.
The Vols, yeah.
They'll be wearing those whites with the orange on the road, I'm assuming.
It's going to look good.
USC Notre Dame, Ole Miss Georgia.
Yeah.
Wow.
All 3 of those games, tough to predict the outcome. Then we put Abilene Christian at SUU. SUU coming off a bye. Abilene Christian on the road to Cedar City. Of course, the bye week is this weekend for Utah Tech. No game.
Yeah.
And they will meet each other a week from tomorrow at Greater Zion Stadium. It'll be T-Birds and Blazers.
Yep.
And then we've got the Colts at the Chargers, the Commanders at the Cowboys. That old rivalry gets renewed.
Yeah.
Falcons at the Niners and Bucks at the Lions. And then our tiebreaker game, you pick the winner in the Holy War, Utah at BYU, and the total points you think will be scored in that game. Those are the 10 games you're picking on our website, thefansportsnetwork.com. Get in it to win it in our Zag Picks of the Week. What do you think about those 3 of those college games? I mean,
They're good
Tennessee,
games.
Bama, USC, Notre Dame, Ole Miss at Georgia. Yes, please. And then BYU and Utah. We got our in-state showdown. That's a great slate of college football Saturday, is it not? Woo.
Yeah, the Saturday the 27th when we had Ohio State, Washington, Oregon, Penn State, LSU, Ole Miss, Alabama, Georgia.
That was good.
That was a good week, but this is the best week we've had since then.
I agree.
So, this should be a really fun week of college football and a hard hard week for the Zag Picks of the week. I mean, I think a lot of these games, especially those college games, straight toss-ups. You can flip a coin and have a better decision than making an educated, in your mind, educated pick. But it is a tough slate. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you get started tonight for any Utah State Aggie fans out there. CBS Sports Network, 7 o'clock, the
live
coverage.
Sports.
How's Bryson Barnes' health as he goes against Danny Scudero? Well, you can tune in tonight to CBS Sports Network to watch the Aggies and the Spartans. 7 o'clock Mountain Time.
Yeah, they're looking for a rebound after last week. It was a tough go of it for Utah State. I think they got doubled up almost by Hawaii. It was 44 to 26, I think. So it was a really bad showing for the Aggie. Hopefully they can rebound against a subpar opponent in San Jose.
Another big story in college football this weekend, outside of the state of Utah, is Indiana's head coach, Curt Cignetti, just got paid third highest paid college football coach in the country after he agreed to an 8-year, $92.8 million deal.
Wow.
11.6 a year through 2033. He's only behind Kirby Smart and Ryan Day for the highest coaching salaries now in college football. Bloomington, Indiana.
He's won everywhere he's gone. He even said, "Google me, I win." You know, like that was a quote of his.
Yeah,
like,
and he's got Indiana 6-0, and they just beat Oregon on the road.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a legitimate quarterback in Fernando Mendoza, a tenacious defense that plays sideline to sideline. I think Indiana went to the playoff last year and got housed on one of those road games by Notre Dame, but I think they are in for a deep playoff run this year.
Paulie, they are the highest they've ever been ranked right now. They are number 3 in the country in the AP poll.
Amazing. This isn't Hoosier basketball we're talking about.
And the timing couldn't have been better for Jimmy Franklin to get fired because they rush in to lock him up long term.
Yeah, it worked out for
Cignetti really well.
He loved that Jimmy got fired because it just put the press on Indiana to make sure that he's G'd up and locked up for good.
Exactly.
Cignetti's no spring chicken. He's 64.
Yeah.
He's 64. I mean, he got hired away from James Madison in 2023.
Guess where he played college football at?
James Madison?
No. Take another guess. It's close to my heart.
The West Virginia alumni.
He was a West Virginia quarterback.
Really?
He was. And we hired an idiot instead of him. And now he's gone on to do amazing things. So every time Cignetti does something amazing and like this 8-year deal, becoming the third highest paid coach, I get a little bitter.
But, just salt in the wound.
Salt in the wound. Because we would be in a different stratosphere with Cignetti.
I mean, look, Cignetti's future, that's taken care of. Check that off. Now Indiana can focus in on trying to make the college football playoff for a second straight season.
Yeah. I think they're going to be there. I mean,
they don't have any regular season games left against anybody that's ranked.
They're going to be there. They're going to be there.
They're going to be there.
They might win the Big Ten championship this year. I mean, they've got a shot. I mean, I know everyone loves Ohio State, and they were my pick to win the championship last year, but they're not the same team. They really aren't. So I think Indiana's got a shot to be Big Ten champs.
You got Michigan State next, and Cignetti.
And they're a
big payday.
Yeah,
they're not.
Michigan
good.
State's not good. They just lost to UCLA by a bunch.
Yeah. It's now going to be really interesting. You can cross one guy off the potential candidate list for Penn State.
Yeah.
Does that make Matt Rule again the biggest name there? Because
I think you're right. I
did not rule it out. When he was asked about it, he was definitely open to
Raiola said he's not going anywhere, his quarterback, but I think Matt Rule said nothing definitive. So that leads me to believe he's interested.
Yes.
Yeah, he's interested.
He's interested. Let's talk.
And I think if you connect the dots, Billy Napier is on his kind of final warning with Florida. I think if they lose again, he might get blown out midseason. Write this down. Jimmy Franklin to Florida. I'm connecting the dots there a little bit. I think that might be his next stop.
Okay.
So, yep.
We'll see. All right. Our next stop will be a quick timeout. When we come back, guests will start pouring in here. We've got Spencer Linton, BYU TV. He'll be joining us on the show. Bill Riley, voice of the Utah Utes. We'll follow him after that. And then John Judkins right around 8:30 or so. So a lot of Holy War talk coming up here in the next 15, 20 minutes of The Drive. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. It is The Drive. Devin Dixon, Paul Ratliff, Tara Atkin hanging out, pushing all the buttons. Ooh, good song there to fire me up as we welcome in play-by-play sportscaster, sideline reporter for BYU TV, host of BYU Sports Nation, does his stuff with KSL as well. And it's Spencer Litton, a good buddy here. And Spencer, here we go. The countdown to kickoff is on. And I think people are pretty revved up for this game tomorrow night. What's the feeling like up there in Provo on a Friday morning?
Devin, I'm exhausted, and we haven't even played the game yet.
I feel you.
It's been a crazy week. It has been a wild week of build-up with just the additional national spotlight that has been cast on this game, with both teams now competing in the same Power Four conference, both ranked. In a strange way, it kind of feels like whoever wins this game takes a significant leg up in their ambition to get to Arlington and play in a Big 12 championship game. It's not an elimination game in that, right, but it does have some elements to that with tie breaks in play later in the season. And then you just throw in the general crazy chaos of what this rivalry means in the state, how it divides homes and communities and friend groups and church groups. It's unlike any other rivalry, really, at the college football level or the college athletics level in the entire country. The one that probably comes closest to it, I think, is Duke, North Carolina, because of the proximity ties there. But even that is not quite as layered as BYU, Utah. And so, I mean, it's like I said, it's been a tiring, fun, emotional week already, and it's not even game day yet.
Yeah, good stuff. I'm sitting here thinking, what is the craziest scenario that you've seen or heard of the rivalry, splitting homes? I mean, have you seen and done some feature stories and interviewed some, because we know some players transfer back and forth that have been at Utah. We know they're at BYU and vice versa. We get that, the flags are flying and homes are split. But what are some instances? Is there any conversation you've heard of how crazy this rivalry is from a fan's perspective that you can share with us?
Yeah, I'll give you one from last night. My good friend Austin Cawley, who has a memory or two in this rivalry game with what he's done on the field as a player for BYU on 4th and 18. And he sent me a video last night because the partnership group he works with currently in the business world, his two main partners and the higher-ups of the company are all diehard Utah fans. So Austin went to the trouble of decorating his entire office last night after midnight with BYU flags.
There he goes.
And when the door opens, there will be on repeat a vocal point version of the Cougar flag song playing through the office. Like, that's their welcome to work today. Just
that's
one.
amazing.
And I mean, it's happening all over the place. It really is. Even in my own neighborhood, you've got people setting up secretly blow-up toys for the Utes or the Cougars on each other's lawns. And I know that most of it is in good fun, but really I think the hardest morning is always Sunday morning when so many of these people go to their church activities or they're out in their yards doing yard work, and they have to see said neighbors either celebrating or sulking, depending on how this game goes. But it is truly one of a kind. And you mentioned the layers on just the staffs of how much cross-pollination there has been. And not just on the staffs, but on the actual rosters this year. You consider Keanu Tanuvasa and Carson Ryan both played at Utah. Now they're playing for BYU. And with the Utes in mind, John Henry Daly is one of the best quarterback pressurers and defenders in the country. He's got 8 sacks. He was at BYU. Now he's at Utah. And then the coaching staffs, my goodness. BYU, you think about what Utah did back in 2008 when they went to the Sugar Bowl and they beat Alabama and that historic team. Do you know who was on that staff? Kalani Sitake was on that staff. Aaron Roderick, Gary Anderson, Jay Hill. All of those coaches were working for Utah in 2000. They're now at BYU. And the Utes, their offensive coordinator is Jason Beck. His wide receivers coach is Micah Simon. His running backs coach is Mark Otuwaya. I mean, dyed-in-the-wool, true blue BYU guys now working for the U. So I've never seen anything like it. So many people that have played and or coached on both sides of this rivalry, and in the relatively speaking recent past, it's pretty cool.
You mentioned they're now, Power 4, Big 12. How does that change the rivalry? How does that amplify the rivalry in your estimation, Spence?
Well, everything matters more when you're in a bigger conference and there are bigger stakes at play, like getting to a Big 12 championship game and having an automatic berth to the college football playoff on the line if you get to said championship game and win. I know that's a lot to ask for either BYU or Utah. And Utah already had their shot at the cream of the crop in Texas Tech. And while that game was close midway through the fourth quarter, it ended up being a little bit lopsided. And and BYU is going to have their shot, a tough one, in Lubbock on November 8th. But just the idea of being able to get back to that game and have another chance to get into the college football playoff as a Power 4 team, and you're both ranked in the top 25, like that. Yeah, it's taking it to another level. This is some people are saying this is the biggest BYU Utah game ever. I'm not ready to go there. I think 2008 was probably the game that had the most on the line because Utah was ranked number 8, BYU was ranked number 16. It was the final game of the regular season. They were playing for a Mountain West Conference championship, and Utah wins that game decisively in the end, running away in the fourth quarter. And obviously, they become the BCS Busters again and have an opportunity to play against Alabama. So I still think that game, because of when it happened and what was on the line, and both teams still were ranked in the top 16, that's probably the most prominent in the history of the matchup. But this is not far off based on everything we're talking about and what's on the line here for the Utes and the Cougs.
And Spencer, it's a very odd betting line for this game as I'm taking a deeper look into it. As the Cougars, the home team, the undefeated team, Utah comes in with a loss. They're favored by 3.5 on the road. But the intriguing thing is, of the money line bets, 59% on the Cougars. If you were to handicap this game, do you think it's closer than the 3.5 point spread for the road team, the Utah Utes?
Yeah, it is an interesting line. And I'll tell you, there are a bunch of notable BYU alumni football players that are fired up about that. And, you know, guys, I already mentioned Austin Collie. He told me earlier this week that he thinks it's absolute garbage, that BYU is a home dog by 3.5. And, you know, John Beck and Max Hall, they've all chimed in. But they did bring some logic to the conversation. But BYU's starting a true freshman quarterback, and he's facing one of the best defensive lines in college football. I think that it's either number 2 or number 3 in their average time to pressure the quarterback this season. The Utes only need like 3.1 seconds or 3.11 seconds on average to put pressure or hurry the quarterback. That's a really, really impressive number. And they're challenging a true freshman who's never played in a game this big. So while BYU is at home, Utah just seems to be playing very clean football and pressure football on the defensive side. Their offense is one of the most efficient in the entire country, especially in the red zone. 29 total red zone trips this year for Utah. They scored 25 touchdowns and kicked 3 field goals. I mean, they've only come up empty once. And that's a credit to Jason Beck calling the plays and using his very athletic, multifaceted quarterback, Devin Dampier. I do still think that I call it a pick'em game, a true coin flip. I'm not ready to lean 3.5 on Utah on the road because I do think in this game, home field advantage does matter. And I think it's going to be an absolutely electric environment. It might turn out that Utah has the ball last and the game's tied and they kick a field goal and win by 3 and it's close to that line, or they score a late touchdown and end up winning by 7, fine, whatever. I do expect the game to be close, but I wouldn't be shocked at all to see BYU on the other side have the ball last and do something like they did last year where they need an essentially walk-off style field goal to win this game. In this rivalry, I've learned more often than not that typically the team who has the ball last is going to be in position to win the game, and that's just another beautiful layer to this showdown.
You know, give us your gut feel, Spence, on what kind of game you expect. It's a rivalry game. Both teams have flashed really well on defense. Both have some playmakers on offense. Both have, new quarterbacks to this rivalry game. Dampier's never played in one, either as Bear. So there's a lot of unknowns there, but give us some other factors that ultimately might decide it one way or the other.
Yeah, it is interesting that both Bachmeier and Dampier they didn't grow up in the rivalry. They don't really know like what this game is. They'll find out in a hurry when the bullets start to fly in the game and the actual football is happening. But I almost feel like it's an advantage for both quarterbacks to not have all of the additional pressure of having grown up in the rivalry. So fun dynamic there. In terms of elements that could determine the game, I feel like BYU has a couple of clear advantages. One with their secondary against Utah's passing attack. Devin Dampier, when throwing the ball down the field of 20 or more yards this season, is only 3 of 19. So he is not set up to stretch a defense with that long-range passing attack or even medium. Utah's passing game is pretty vanilla. A lot of short, quick hitters, a lot of 5-yard outs, screen passes, and then they kind of just let their guys go to work and try and extend the play. But they're not going to, at least in heavy capacity, test that BYU defense deep a ton. I'd be shocked if they tried to do that. So that's advantage BYU there. If their defense can keep Utah in 3rd and 6 or longer, then Utah's offense is going to struggle a little bit. The key there is, can you contain Devin Dampier and keep him truly in the pocket? Because when he ad-libs and it becomes like a backyard-style football, that's where he gets really dangerous with his legs and extending plays. And that's where you might see like a big pass play as the play breaks down, receivers are just running around on the field, and that dude will go and make a play. So can BYU keep him truly contained in the pocket? If they do that, advantage BYU. If Utah's red zone offense is efficient like it has been, they could win this game by double figures convincingly. BYU's defense, I should say, in the red zone has been pretty good this year, top 20. So which of those teams shows up best in that portion of the field? If BYU can limit Utah to a few field goals when the Utes are in scoring territory, another advantage BYU. But more often than not, I tell you what, these rivalry games, the margin of error is so thin, so turnovers feel exponentially important. I do not see how BYU wins this game if they lose the turnover battle to an opportunistic Utah team. That might be top of the list. I know it sounds cliche almost, but again, in this game, with the emotions, and you want to talk about taking a crowd out of the game, if BYU turns the ball over and grants Utah some short fields, gosh, it just takes the wind out of the stadium, the air out of the stadium. And inversely, if Utah turns the ball over to BYU in Provo and the Cougars can pay that off, it gets weird mentally for Utah. So I'm looking heavily at that statistic. I don't see a way that BYU wins the game if they lose the turnover battle. It could be even, but the Cougs are going to need some help in that regard if they're going to pull it off and get to 7-0.
I agree. I'm thinking back to the Texas Tech game, and you talk, the fumbles. They just kept coughing it up, and that game was still close when they were turning it over, and then ultimately, like you said earlier, Texas Tech ran away in that fourth quarter. Spencer Linton, BYU TV, check him out. One of our good buddies, always gracious enough to hop on with us down here in St. George. And Spence, enjoy the whole day tomorrow, and then get rested up on Sunday, because I know you're going to be worn out by tomorrow night about midnight.
You got it, Devin. Great to talk with you and Paul and Tara. Shout out to all you guys in Southern Utah.
All right, Spencer Linton, BYU TV, hanging out with us here on The Drive. We got to take a break. Back in a flash. We got lots more coming up on The Fan. Bill's going to stop by the show when we return, and we'll chat with him a little bit about this rivalry game. And then John Judkins later in the show, he's going to be by as well, Utah Tech men's basketball coach. So we're loaded the rest of the way on the Fan Sports Network.
hope I'm still. There we go.
Holy cow, we're fired up for the Holy War tomorrow, and the guests just keep rolling in here on a Feel Good Friday on the Fan Sports Network. And thank you so much for locking us in, loading us up here on the app, on the website, on the radio, St. George or Cedar City. Bill Riley, voice of the Utes, hanging out with us here, now jumping on the show. Bill, how the heck are you, man? Thanks for carving out a little time. I know busy week for you and everybody up there getting ready for this big showdown tomorrow night in Provo.
Happy to do it. Good morning to you guys.
Yes, there's the voice of the Utes right there. There's those vocal cords resonating through the radio here on the show today. How much fun are you having getting ready for the game tomorrow, Bill? I mean, this is excitement. Like, I feel like people are maybe overhyping this game, if that's such a thing. But I think because they're both top 25 teams, they're in the same conference, we should be getting excited and giving this all the attention that this game deserves.
I don't think you can overhype the biggest sporting event in the state of Utah every year. So I think it's getting the proper amount of hype right now. Don't you?
Yeah. I mean, it's basically all we've been talking about all week long.
That's right.
And I'm sure you have too. How do you see this game? I mean, if you went through what could happen in your mind, what are some things that you're really excited to see play out in this edition of the Holy War?
Well, I want to see how good both these teams are. I think I know how good Utah is. They've been tested twice. They were tested against Texas Tech, didn't pass that test, and Tech showed that they were the best team in the Big 12. And then they got tested last week against Arizona State, a top 25 team, and they ran all over them. And I know that they didn't have Sam Levitt that day, but Sam Levitt doesn't play defense, and that defense gave up 42 points to a good Utah football team. So I want to see BYU now. BYU, to be fair, they've won all the games in front of them, but they haven't played a team the caliber of either Arizona State or Texas Tech yet. So I want to see how they face and match up with a top 25 team themselves in the University of Utah. So I think there's a lot of matchups within that game that I'm excited to see too. But really, I think can either one of these teams win? Who wins the line of scrimmage? Because neither one of these teams are an air-it-out, really throw-it-all-over-the-place football team. You get a freshman quarterback at Bachmeier who's finding himself game after game, and Devin Dampier can throw it too, but Utah's everything they do is based off that run game. So which one of these two teams can really run the football well?
And, Bill, I would argue that BYU's been showing chinks in the armor the last 2 weeks. The end of the game against West Virginia, the turnover fest that it was, and then the 2 OT win against Arizona. And all the while, Bachmeier, who started off really hot, has thrown 3 picks in 2 games. I think the Utah defense has to be licking their chops with a freshman playing against a freshman and all the exotic looks that they give.
I think so a little bit. But, again, freshman quarterbacks are going to make mistakes. I mean, you can only see what you've seen. And, I give Bear Bachmeier a lot of credit. This is a guy that most people thought maybe McKay Hillstead was going to win that job coming in. And they went with him in the spring, and they went with him in the fall. And so I think he is improving on the job, also making mistakes along the way. I mean, for goodness sakes, you look at a guy like Arch Manning, getting a chance to play. He'd even played before, and he's had some issues. You can only know what you know and see what you've seen. And certainly I think Morgan Scalley's probably going to try and give him a lot of looks that he hasn't seen before. But I think for a redshirt freshman doing it for the first time, I think Bachmeier's done a good job. But you're right. And again, they beat Colorado, had to kind of come from behind in that Colorado game too. But they did it. And those were 2 games on the road. That's saying something. It's not easy to win. It's not easy to win on the road. So, yeah, it wasn't the prettiest necessarily doing it, but the results were there. So I think you get some credit for doing that.
Bill Riley, our guest here, getting ready for the game tomorrow night. With Big Noon already coming to Salt Lake and Big Noon in Provo, what will be different from a fan's perspective, you think? Anything there that you can enlighten our listeners with? Because I've heard a lot of people are going up to the game from Southern Utah. I must have bumped into, 6-8 people yesterday alone that had tickets and were going to the game from down here.
It was crazy when it was in Salt Lake. The people turned out. The setting isn't quite as big as like game days setting. Theirs is a little bit more intimate, but they pack them in. It's a fun show. I'm sure Urban Meyer's going to have a little bit of fun with it because, of course, Urban loved to poke the bear a little bit when he was at Utah, and he's a Utah guy through and through. But no, it'll be a fun show. I don't know where they've got. I won't be down there quite that early for that. I probably won't go down till about mid-afternoon, and I've seen that up close, so I don't need to see it again. But it'll be a fun time. I think BYU fans will have a good time with it.
I love it. Bill, what are some other things that you're really looking forward to in this matchup? And do you have any stories of how this divides families or divides neighborhoods or business offices? Because we know that this rivalry, there's a lot of shenanigans going on, and usually it's all mostly in good fun around the state of Utah.
Well, I didn't grow up in Utah, but I've lived here 24 years now, so I'm a Utahn through and through. I mean, I think we all know the stories of dividing families and dividing neighborhoods and people coloring other people's lawns red or blue or TPing their house with red or blue, toilet paper or offices and things like that. But to me, one of the more intriguing stories in this. I did the Whittingham show, the coaches show the other night. So over the last 52 years, I think Kyle said, over the last 52 years, so with the exception of maybe 1 year, a Whittingham has been involved in this rivalry game, either on the BYU or Utah side.
Wow.
Think about that. There's somebody who's been part of this game as a coach, as a player, as an assistant coach, or whatever, with the exception, I think he said, of 1 or 2 years over the last 52 years. That's intriguing to me. Look at the coaching staffs. Kyle Whittingham is the head coach at Utah. He was an All-American linebacker at BYU. Kalani Sitake is the head coach at BYU. He was one of the best defensive coordinators in University of Utah history. Jay Hill was an all-WAC defensive back at Utah. He's now the defensive coordinator. Jason Beck, the offensive coordinator at Utah, was a quarterback at BYU. It goes back and forth all the way. There's so many ties on both these coaching staffs. I don't think you would find that in any other true rivalry anywhere else in college football, but you find it here.
Good stuff. I'm mesmerized. Cannot wait. Looking at this game, is there a more memorable? You've been here, on the air with Utah since about 2010, Bill. So you've called a lot of these rivalry games. Is there one that stands out the most to you that you've been a part of that you think, in your mind, from your vantage point, was arguably the best version of this rivalry game?
Well, I mean, I've called them since 2006 was the first one that I called. That was the famous Beck to Harleen game.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
called the Burton block in 2010, where BYU had a chip shot field goal to win. Brandon Burton came off the edge, blocked it. I called the third time as the charm game, where Utah had to win it not once, not twice, but 3 times as the crowd came onto the field. I called the game when Utah was down 28-7 in the fourth quarter, and they came roaring back with Jason Shelley at quarterback to beat BYU at Rice-Eccles Stadium. I called the game where Taysom Hill was stopped at the goal line on the 2-point conversion to end the game. By the way, no rivalry game in the last 30 years in all of college football has had more one-possession games than Utah-BYU. Utah and BYU have played 19 one-possession games since 1994. There's your stat of the day right there.
Wow.
And Bill, wanted to ask about the offensive line for the Utes. Of course, Caleb Lomu and Spencer Fanu. We've seen projections from Mel Kiper. They're both first-round picks. BYU loves to get after the quarterback, bring pressure. What's it like having maybe Utah's best offensive line and Kyle Whittingham's tenure to combat that rush and attack from BYU's defense?
I mean, they're really good. I mean, they are really, really good. I think you saw an example of that last week. Arizona State was giving up 78 yards a game on the ground. Utah had 183 at halftime and 276 in the game. And really, they kind of met their match a little bit in that Texas Tech game. Texas Tech is really good. They spent their money well up front, but to be fair, all year long, their pass protection has been excellent. Now, I know Jay Hill will probably have something exotic drawn up to try to make Devin Dampier a little bit uncomfortable tomorrow. But that offensive line is legit, guys. It's everything that it's cracked up to be, and it's not just the tackles. You know, you've got Tanoa Togiai, Jaron Kump, and Michael Mokafisi, who have all played together as well. And that's really the key with this line. These guys have all started. This is the second full year they've all started together. And really, these guys have played throughout their entire careers. So when you have that kind of, recognition and you have that kind of familiarity with each other, that's going to make it for a good offensive line play.
Bill Riley, voice of the Utes, hanging out with us here. Bill, enjoy the heck out of tomorrow. I know you will. Sounds like if we have it right, you could have another memorable call. This one could go down to the wire. Utah 3.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
Does that surprise you, Bill? The line that Utah is 3.5 favorites on the road.
A little bit. To be fair, the line hasn't moved at all. So, but yeah, I was a little surprised. I thought it would be maybe a 1 or 2. I'm not surprised Utah's favored by maybe a skosh, but yeah, the 3.5 surprised me a little bit. But I think Vegas knows. Those guys usually know things. They know Utah's a pretty good football team, and I think they're kind of like everybody else. How good is this BYU team? If BYU passes the test tomorrow night, they are legit. They're right there with Texas Tech as a Big 12 favorite. But I just think the fact that Utah's had a couple of more tests and BYU hasn't played quite as good a competition maybe is where that line comes from. But to your point, I think the game's fantastic tomorrow, and I think it will probably come down to a possession in the fourth quarter to decide it.
And Bill, the total as well. Me and Devin both kind of thinking this is going to be a lower scoring game. Total all the way up to 49.5 to 51, depending on where you look. Do you think this is kind of a aggressive kind of slugfest style game, or do you think we're going to see some pretty offensive plays throughout?
That feels like, again, I'm not allowed to wager anymore now that I'm working at the university and things of that nature. But if for betting and entertainment purposes only, that number does feel a little high, if that makes sense. BYU hasn't really shown that the last couple of weeks. And, Utah maybe has that in them, but I don't know. I just feel like these games, even last year, 22-21.
Yeah.
That was a low-scoring game. There haven't been a ton of high-scoring games the last couple of times these two teams have met. So I feel like that 3.5 either way is probably a good number, but that does feel pretty high for a total.
Bill Riley, everybody. Bill, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Next time you're down here, bring the sticks, hit us up. Let's go play a round golf. Tell our good buddy Cyrus Polo we said hello.
Yeah.
A good friend of our show down here, and we'll talk to you again soon down the road. Enjoy it and have a good call tomorrow, Bill.
Cyrus is going to be a really, really good linebacker. Once these veterans move on, he is really good. Guys, thanks for having me. I'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, Bill Riley, everybody, on the drive. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, John Judkins will join us. And Bill was right, Paul. 22-21 last year.
Yeah.
2021, it was 26-17. 30-12 in 2019. 2018, it was 35-27. 2018,
so only one
was a
time
shootout.
it's gone over the 50.
And 2017, 19-13.
Yeah.
So in the last 5 matchups head-to-head, only one has went over 49.
Yeah. I think under a real safe bet in this game.
Good stuff. John Judkins, when we come back, we keep the guests rolling in on the Fan Sports Network inside the Finley Hyundai Studios. Yes. Feel Good Friday, talking sports. This is one of those shows, as we welcome you back, Devin, Tara, Paulie, and Coach Judkins in studio with us, gracing us with his presence. The longtime great coach, the most winningest coach ever in the state of Utah. Juddy hates it when I introduce him with like Mr. 5-time Coach of the Year. He doesn't like all that stuff. But Juddy, good morning.
Morning. How are you guys?
I wish we had a longer show today because we're just loaded.
Well, you got that big game tomorrow. I heard you on the way in. It's
I just had Bill Riley and cool. Spencer Linton stop by. Who you like in that game? You're an Aggie. You're
a
Utah
Aggie.
State
I don't
alum.
like any of them. No. I just wanted a good game, and like those guys are saying, I think it's going to be that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough one. It's going. I agree with what he said last. Was the turnovers is going to be the factor.
Yeah.
That you don't turn the ball over, see what happens. But it doesn't matter who has a better team when they play. It seems like it's always a battle. Like Utah a couple years ago was supposed to, they're done dominate, and then BYU pulls it out at the end. I mean, it's one of those fun rival games, and that's what you want.
Is your house split? You have Cougars and Ute fans in the Judkins family? Your brother, Jeff, is BYU guy,
Jeff
right?
is. I haven't been there for 30-something years. So again, in Salt Lake back in the day when he played at the U, we were all U fans. And then I said when he got the job at BYU, I don't think a lot of them changed and went that way. But still, it'd be fun to ask him that question because he's been on both sides of that. But again, I just want a good game, good fun game, and I always cheer for them when they play. I mean, whoever they play when they play each other, we just enjoy watching the game.
And if you're looking for a little pregame before the Holy War, which is at 6 o'clock tomorrow night, Utah Tech football is on a bye week. They play SUU in the rivalry game next Saturday. So you've got this open to the public scrimmage game. It's not a counting game. It's an exhibition game against West Coast Baptist, which is a D2 school. I don't know a ton about them. What do you know about West Coast Baptist?
We don't know very much about them either, to tell you the truth. We're trying to find film. We're trying to find things on them. And again, the hard part now, Devy's first couple games you play is you find film on them, but their whole team's different because of the transfer portal with D1, D2, and everybody else. And so you kind of get, we played New Mexico State the other day. This is scrimmage, a closed-door scrimmage, and they ran completely different stuff than they did the first time. We saw them last year. So you can't really go there. So you just got to prepare your guys and worry about yourself and what you can do. And that's the whole reason why we did it, was that, but also to get the fans excited about basketball. And we don't come back home until I think the 5th of November is our first actual home game that, like you said, it counts. And so, we just wanted to get something going, to get them excited, get start to get cold, in the mornings. It's kind of nice. It's basketball season's right there, and that's what we're excited about.
4 o'clock tomorrow is the scrimmage.
It's free
admittance.
Doors are open.
FREE, free. No cover charge, no ticket prices. You walk right into the Burns Arena, grab a seat.
Anywhere you want. There you go.
No assigned seats.
Yeah.
You want to get there at 3 o'clock, you can sit right behind Coach Judkins.
Yeah, there you go. Yell at me all you want.
Front row. Well, you might have to arm wrestle his wife for that spot.
There you go.
She's always right there behind you, Coach.
Yeah, she loves me
behind
right
every
there,
great coach is a great wife.
You got to have them, and that's exactly what she is.
Oh man, how's the chemistry? We met your point guard Marvell Allen, had him on the show thanks to our friends at Kabuto yesterday. Was it yesterday we had?
Yes.
Yeah, it was yesterday we had him on the show.
Yeah.
And
great guy.
Great young man.
Yeah, he is. He's a great guy. And we were lucky to get him. Again, he's still not ready to go yet, and he's working really hard. I don't know if you guys talked to him about that yesterday.
Yeah,
well,
a little bit.
But again, it's just a fun kid to talk to. He's really humble. He just wants to play. He hasn't played for a long, long time, and we're excited to see if we can get him healthy and get him on the court. But other than that, I think the guys we got, the new ones coming in. The guys coming back. We have 6 back from last year's team. 2 of them that played a lot of minutes with this Toby and Madiba. And then we still have Dallin Grant, Hunter, Britt, Preston, Vandermite. So we still have quite a few of those guys back. And then we got, some transfers with Noah. And then also we call him Juice, but Jashawn, he's another kid that we got that I think is going to be really good. And I'll tell you, the kid that played good on those scrimmage was Chance, a kid from Snow College. He's at Davis High School. He went to Weber State his
Trujillo,
first year,
right?
Yeah,
Chance Trujillo.
Yeah, and so he shot it really well. I mean, he was like 7 for 8 from a three. He shot the ball extremely well, and then getting a transfer from Utah Valley with Ethan Potter, a kid that comes just a solid kid that does all the things you ask him to do. Very smart. He has 1 year left. He wanted to get more time. That's why he transferred, and hopefully he can come in and help us a lot.
Yeah, Coach, he played a lot of games for the Wolverines last year. 29 games Ethan played, averaged 7 points. I mean, he's going to be a guy that's going to step in immediately, I feel like, and give you some production.
Well, and he's been in the WAC, and he's been, he understands college basketball. He understands our league. There's a lot of advantages that he has of big games. And again, when we were recruiting him, when he hit the portal, we thought we could get him out of high school. We tried really hard to get him out of high school, and then he went to Utah Valley. His brother was there redshirting when he got home off his mission, and that's kind of where he kind of went. And he had a great year there, or great career. Now he just, we got him more because he wanted to be more of a part of it. Like I said, he played 29 games, but he's probably
not a ton of starters minutes.
Yeah, 12, 15 minutes a game, something like that. He'll get a lot more for us, and I think that was a big thing. But I always joke with them as when we played them the last 2 times, it seems like they always made their run against us when he was in the game. They're almost like NBA last year. They would almost clock them to how much time everybody gets. The second team, the first team, and the second team. I thought Utah Valley with him and the Jackson kid from Timpview. Those guys were solid, and they made runs, not just against us, but against a lot of teams. So we're excited. One thing I love about him is just, man, his IQ is unreal. Basketball, he just catches on really fast. The only bad thing I don't like what we're doing right now with him is he only has 1 year left, and he has one class that he has to take. Well, he has 2 classes that he has to take, and guess what time they're at? 12 o'clock to 1:30. Our practice time is 12 to 3. So we don't get him for an hour and a half. So that's tough. But thank goodness that he is as intelligent as he is, and he catches on to stuff. Because when he comes in, we show him what we worked on through film and stuff, and he's catching on to that. So hopefully next semester we can get that figured out.
And if you start moving your practice around, then you run into other kids' classes, right? It's very difficult to navigate.
It's really hard. And they're working on it. They're trying some things, but the big thing is we give a lot of adjunct teachers, and that's great. We love them, but they all want to come in after lunch. They don't want to come in the morning and teach. They got jobs, and they got to come in the afternoon. So a lot of the afternoon classes are there, and it's tough right during our practice, and so we're working on it. We're trying to get things ready for spring, and those things just happen. But that's where we come in and say, hey, athletics is 2, and academic is number 1, and that's what we're doing with them.
Tell me how Madiba Owana looks, because he just flashes, Coach. He's so athletic. It reminds me a lot of a Trevor Hill or DeQuan Thompson, some of the great athletic guards that you've had that have come through the program in past years. He reminds me of those guys, but his ceiling is pretty high.
Well, it is. He had a really good year last year. Made freshman team in the WAC. I thought he had a chance to get the freshman player of the year, and went to the Tarleton State kid. And again, just came in and gave us some great minutes. We got him kind of late. He was here, but to be eligible from the NCAA, we had to go through a lot of hoops to get him to be eligible. So he didn't really get back until December, but he's playing well. He's we worked on his game. He's bigger and stronger. And then Noah, the other kid I was telling you about, they're both from France, so they knew each other when they were back younger playing against each other. So it's kind of fun to have those guys on our team together. I don't like when they talk in French, but it's fun to hear him talk.
Coach.
Yeah, they talk. But he's doing really well. We're trying to get him to work on it to be a little bit more consistent on his jumper. He can really get to the basket. He's a really good pull-up jump shooter. But the 3 ball, it's something that he has to continue to be more consistent with. He's good off the dribble 3, but I'm saying a catch 3. Where we had Noah Gonzalez last year, and that was his baby. He'd just sit out there, we'd drive, kick, and hit threes. And that's what we got to get, because right now teams are gapping him and trying to keep him in front. So, but he's done well. He's done well. And again, this year's team, I think with the new guys we got plus the guys from last year, I think we're going to be more athletic. We're longer. You might see us press a little bit more. You might see us do some things because we have the length, we have the athleticism and the speed.
Coach, wanted to ask you, you're always one, you never shy in the non-conference scheduling some tough opponents.
Yeah, what are we doing? Huh?
And you've got a double dip, Arizona State, both road games. Going to go be playing against Tommy Lloyd and the Wildcats one night, then Bobby Hurley and the Sun Devils the next night. I just wondered from a coaching perspective, you have two great coaches there, guys that have, obviously Hurley, a great illustrious playing career as well, but do you ever pick their brain pre-game and just get little coaching tidbits and little tips and tricks and stuff?
You always try to. They're not very good at giving to you pre-game. But, I know 2 years ago.
Say, yeah.
2 years ago, we played Arizona again, and they got us, and you walk in their gym and play, and you see things on the court. They'll tape stuff. Everybody does it. You put the painter's tape down of, things like, hey, I want to get catches here, or, our spacing, our offense, or what have you. One thing I noticed with Arizona is they had these red tape lines down the middle of the floor, and then they had on the backboard, they had some stuff. And I thought, what the heck is that? And you're kind of in your mind like, I haven't ever seen that. And so we played the game. Nothing. They took the tape off, obviously.
Yeah.
And we play the game, and then that year, after the year's over, we go to the Final Four, and Tommy Lloyd's there. And that's what I was talking about, Arizona. And Tommy Lloyd's there. And so then you ask him, hey, I noticed this. And then he kind of explained to me what it was. And if you watch his teams, his bigs, that's their lane. And so he says, you run down this lane and you get to the glass. And so he kind of made it, that was what they do. And if you really watch them, what they do, their bigs run right down and they post up. They're probably one of the teams that I see that have kind of still stayed old school.
Yeah.
Where you got to post inside.
Mm-hmm.
They lost the big kid, the Shaq. We used to call him Baby Shaq.
Follow, right?
But that's what they did with him at Gonzaga. That's what they did with him in Arizona, and so I don't know what he has this year. We'll find out. But that's something that he did. So we ask him those kind of questions. And I'll tell you what, there's some coaches out there when you go recruiting, that's when you ask the questions, more the recruiting or the Final Four. Those are where you pick their brains with stuff. And I'll tell you what, some of them are really, Tommy Lloyd's, I haven't talked to Bobby Hurley, but Tommy Lloyd's one of the nicest guys you've ever meet, and even like Bill Sells. I mean, you could talk to him. I mean, it's just there's some guys that are really classy, and we'll talk to the small schools, if you want to call them, and then there's some that just won't give you the time of day. So what we do, we pick. I always tell my coaches, if you think you know everything, you probably need to get out. You need to get out of coaching because you can learn every day, and you can learn different things from different coaches. And what you do is we don't invent the wheel. You just take ideas, what they have, and then you try to put them or fit them into what you have. And that's what great coaches do, and I got a great staff for doing that.
It's that time of year again. Basketball season. Exhibition game tomorrow, 4:00, so you can get down there 4 to 5:30, and then you can get home and watch the Holy War. If that's what you want to do, you get a little
perfect
doubleheader. It's free for everybody to go watch that exhibition game against West Coast Baptist. Again, 4:00, Burns Arena. Walk on in, grab a seat, and full game on display. Yeah, see some newcomers, see some of the guys back, and get to know the team a little bit.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. I mean, it's just getting excited for it again, and we were thought about doing it next week. But we thought, no, that's our homecoming week. It could be too much going on. So it's perfect. It's a perfect time for us. The 4:00 workout, perfect for you BYU, Utah fans, like you said. And it should be fun. Come out and see what we got to do. And I think you'll like our team. I really do. I think you'll enjoy watching them and get to know them. And that's one thing we're doing. I'm just leaving right now to go to an elementary school. We're still doing the elementary, seeing the kids and stuff like that. We do that for the whole.
Did a cool autograph session the other night at Staley Farm.
Staley Farm. We appreciate them letting us do that. That was fun. And then we took them to the Spook Alley, and I mean, just seeing our team just do stuff like that is pretty funny. I mean, there's some kids who are just
never done that before.
We've done that. We've gone to the lake a few times with some people, and they've never been on the water and done things. We should have called you to get your boat out. Do you still have your boat?
Yeah. You haven't bought it yet, Coach.
It's time to winterize them, baby. Time's over. But no, it's fun. Our guys, you'll like our guys. I mean, you've met Marvell, but I'd love to get them on the show. You can meet them, and again, these guys. We want everybody to come out and meet our guys. That's what you got to do. Is this community get behind them? But They're really nice guys. We do a lot of service around the community. We want to help the community as much as they help us, and appreciate everybody supporting us.
All right, tomorrow 4 o'clock, we'll have lots more visits with John Judkins, and we'll meet more of the players in the weeks to come. Got to get to a final break. Come back, wrap things up on the drive. Don't forget, go to our website, make the Zag picks of the week. 10 games. Think you know football? Prove it. Prize package over $200 for first place. We got prize for second and third. And if you win the week, you go to the playoff pickoff at the end of the season. We'll be right back.
Back live here from the Finlay Hyundai Studios. Speaking of Finlay Hyundai, how about the Finlay Automotive Trunk or Treat? It's on Halloween from 2 to 4 p.m. Lots of trunks, lots of treats spread across Finlay Subaru, Finlay Kia, and Finlay Volkswagen at 1333 Sunland Drive. It's the Finlay Automotive Trunk or Treat with the Fan Sports Network. Coney's going to be out there. The Hawk's going to be out there. Go see him and get some good candy for your kids, and it should be a great time had by all. All right. Well, we're winding down time in the show today, about 3 minutes to go, so I thought nothing better than to end the show with maybe our leans, our picks. Tara's been non-committal on her pick, but let's see if she's ready to make one.
Okay.
I'm ready to make one. So right now, BYU, Utah, we talked about it with Spencer Lynn. We talked about it with Bill Riley. We asked both of them about the spread and total, and right now 3.5 points favoring the Utah Utes. We're just going winner here though. Don't worry about the spread.
Yeah.
But I am going to go Utes. I've kind of felt this the last couple weeks when this leading up to this game. BYU's deterioration, like the Colorado win, was narrow escape. The West Virginia game, they had a comedy of errors at the end, and then the Arizona game was a very tight feet to the fire win that they barely got. So for me, I am leaning Utah here. They are the road favorite, which is very rare in this rivalry game, but I think I'm going to lean Utah. I'm going to go Utes. I think 27-23. I think they get the cover and the win.
Okay. I think Utah wins as well, but I want BYU to
You think
win.
Utah wins?
It's going to be tough, but like you said, we were really high on BYU's defense and how good they were, but they really haven't been tested. And even in the games that they have played, it's, especially been like against Colorado,
Yeah.
2 touchdowns in the first half and first quarter. Yeah. So I don't know, but this is a huge rivalry game. There's a lot on the line.
Ton.
So,
Big 12 title spot potentially implications in this game.
Yeah, but I'm rooting for BYU. I'm not gonna lie.
All right. You're rooting for BYU, but you think that
It's going to be a battle.
that Utah wins the game ultimately. What's
Possibly.
your score prediction? Do you have a score for
It's
the
going to
listeners?
be close,
All
like
right.
you said. You already said 27, but I think it's going to be right in that
Okay.
realm. It's
All
going to be
right.
in the 20s.
Like a 3-4
and
point game.
A 3-point difference between the two, for sure.
All right. So you like BYU by that projection, you like BYU with the 3.5 because you think it will be a 3-point game.
I do,
So,
yeah. I think it's going to be close.
That's right. So it will be super close. I got a text here from Devin. He likes the under 49.5 total points.
Okay.
And BYU, he takes 20-17 as the
Okay.
victors.
Oh,
So
20-17,
rise and
so-
shout. All the Cougar fans are out after that prediction from Double D. But I'm going not so fast, Lee Corso style. I'm going Utah on the road, takes down BYU in a tight one. But I still think, yeah, a lot of what Bill and Spencer were saying, I agreed with. A lot of good points made by both. But I think that both of them kind of fell back on the same thing, is that the level of competition for BYU thus far this season has not been what Utah's faced.
Right.
So, 2 ranked teams for Utah, 0 ranked teams for BYU that they've played. So it should be an interesting game. 6 o'clock on Fox. The whole state will be watching. It is a game of massive implications for the Big 12 title, of course, which we mentioned. Texas Tech is kind of running away and hiding from everybody, but one other team has got to play them in that Big 12 title game. Who will it be? The winner of this game will have a say and definitely be in the mix to the very end. And like Spencer Linton said, it's not really an elimination game for the loser. You need more help and some losses from other teams to move up, but I still think that it's doable for the loser in this game to make the Big 12 title game, but much, much harder. So whoever wins this one's got the inside track, per se, to the Big 12 title game. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us on a Feel Good Friday. Hope everyone enjoyed the show today. It was brought to you by Zag. Protect it better. Get $20 off phone repair at the 2 St. George or Cedar City Zag. Just mention the radio special, as well as make your Zag picks of the week. College, high school, and pro games, every week with the opportunity to win Zag and Kabuto Sushi and Ramen Bar gift cards for first, second, and third place. And that is a great promotion. Get your Zag picks of the week in before 7 o'clock tonight. First high school game kicks off. You will not be able to be eligible for that pick if you don't get it in. And also brought to you today by St. George Tint Shop. Make your vehicle look good, feel good, and protect your ride. Book your tint today, 435-704-8657, or Google St. George Tint Shop today. For Tara, for myself, we're out. We'll see you on Monday.